Hello and a very warm welcome to this special. Hope you're all well, and if you're still recovering from the thrashing that India received at the hands of Australia in the second ODI at Visakhapatnam, we've got another question for you, and that question is India in trouble when it comes to left-arm pacers? Is India's top order struggling against left-arm pacers? That's the big question after watching what happened in the second ODI. The other question is, how many chances should Surya Kumar Yadav be given now that he's gotten out to two golden ducks in this series so far? So a lot to talk about. We're also going to be talking to Jamie Alter, who joins us here on the show, about whether he expected this kind of a match where India were bundled out for just 117. Jamie, it's one thing that you lose a match to Australia, to the visiting team, but to lose it in this manner when you've been so dominant at home, how shocked were you?
Yeah, a little shocked. In fact, I was on another show when I was asked how much do you think they'll score. I said, well, given the fact that India do so well at this ground, I think it was 7 out of 8 or 7 out of 9. I said they should easily post 325. Well, that was way, way off. But I'm just surprised because of just the way that the team sort of collapsed. And I know this show is going to talk a lot about left-arm pace, but just the manner of dismissal, Surya Kumar Yadav, it just didn't make for a very fun game. Forget the obvious bias towards Indian cricket. When a one-day match, in these times when the future of the one-day match is being widely speculated, for an entire match to be over well before one inning should have been bowled, sort of leaves a strange taste. So but yeah, I was surprised by how quickly the Indian team folded, and then also by how fast Australia chased down that target in what 11 overs, 234 balls. That's a record loss for Indian cricket. Not a good thing to have against your name if you're Rohit Sharma.
That's right. Let's take a look at the lowest totals at home for India, and this will put in perspective what this was really all about. And those are going to come up on your screens. 86 in Kanpur. You take a look at that. 1986 in Kanpur. India were bundled out for 78, 100 in Ahmedabad, 112 in Dharamshala in 2017, and since then 117 in Visakhapatnam. That is the fourth lowest ODI total, and then 135 in Guwahati. That was 1987 as well. So what you're looking at is this being one of those lowest ODI totals for the Indian team in recent times, and it hasn't happened very often. And that again, you go back to that same point that Indians know how to bat in these conditions. Indians more often than not will not be dismissed like that. And all of this is because of one man, Mitchel in the Australian lineup. Jamie, we saw him bowl well in the first ODI, but in the second one, just the way he ran through the Indian batting order, it was incredible to watch. And I know the conditions were favorable, but to be able to bowl like that again and again, how good is Mitchel Starc?
Oh, he's outstanding. I've been saying this for a while now. While wickets wise, his numbers do not come anywhere near Australia's joint highest wicket takers. That is Brett Lee and Glenn McGrath. They have 380 wickets. I mean, let's just think about that for a second. But the skill and the way that he strikes, and I think because of the disappointing Test series that Mitchel Starc had, not playing the first two matches and then playing the next two, but not really doing anything because of the conditions primarily. He had something to say, and look, he's a master of the white ball, especially up front. You think of Mitchel Starc, the pace, the accuracy, the Yorkers, and this was just another top-class spell, which something to my mind said it was an extension of how well he bowled in the first match. He got 3 there, but here to go on and get 5. And just look at the accuracy. The first 2 balls were really wide. You wondered, hey, what's going on here? Is this perhaps a day when Starc does not get his radar? But the moment he landed the ball on that dime, you saw Rohit Sharma was sort of feeling outside off stump, not sure what to do. Shubman Gill, and then, the ball that he bowled to Surya Kumar Yadav. Yes, Surya Kumar Yadav is struggling to command this place in the one-day team, but in both innings, he's got very, very good balls. This is just high-quality pace that you expect from a bowler of Mitchel Starc's ability, frankly.
And then when you ask him in the press conference as to what was it, that stood out for him about his bowling, and he said, I've been doing this for last 13 years, 13 to 14 years. This is what I do. I just land the ball full and, it moves on its own. And, the plan from him has been simple. But what we were discussing yesterday as well, Jamie, while we were watching the match, was how special he is in ODIs for Australia. I know that, at times he's out because of injuries, but when he is bowling like the way we saw in this series, he really is their most lethal weapon. And, for Australia, this is good because this is a World Cup year. We saw the numbers there of Mitchell Starc in this series. You get out your top order wickets of the opponent team, you know that you're in the driver's seat, and that's exactly what he's been doing.
Absolutely. He's been doing this for a long, long time. The accuracy is far, far more potent when it comes to one-day cricket. He's had some fantastic spells in Test cricket, some very good spells in T20 cricket. But seeing this guy at his best in a one-day match is very, very few thrills, because left-arm pace, when it's accurate, when it's hostile, there's no other better way of fast bowling. But look, Australia have, I think, 9 one-day matches left before the World Cup starts. That's not a lot, but I think what they'll be happy when it comes to talking about Mitchell Starc is that, once again, I think it's 5 years running now, if I'm not mistaken, he's not going to be taking part in the IPL, which is a conscious decision when it comes to Mitchell Starc. Be it Ashes, be it World Cup years, he's always put playing for Australia ahead of big series, big tournaments, more than the IPL. So that's one thing, because that's one bowler who they can safely say is not going to get injured playing a lot of T20 cricket, like Pat Cummins will be playing, like Josh Hazelwood will probably be playing a little less because of his injury. But in a World Cup year with just 9 one-day matches, more than Mitchell Starc's form right now, because look, there is 6 months left. It's a fact that he's not going to be remotely near getting injured, like so many players often do. So, and look, if the conditions are anything like what we saw, and there will be certain venues, Maya, because it's October, it's a lot of cricket, north venues, northeast venues. There are going to be certain conditions with dew setting in when Starc is going to have a right chance to bowl just the way he did against India. So not just India, but other teams have someone to really be worried about.
Which then takes me to the next question, which many would be wondering now. Is Mitchell Starc one of the greatest in ODIs, really? I know you were saying this yesterday, and I said, we've got to look at the numbers, and I'm going to put some numbers up, and this is of the number of fifers, maximum number of fifers for bowlers in ODIs, and those numbers are going to come up on your screens, and he is third highest in that list. Waqar Younis right at the top, 258 innings, 13 5-4s. Muthaiya Muralitharan, 341 innings, 10 5-4s, and there you look at Mitchell Starc, 109 innings, just 109 innings, 9 5-4s. Brett Lee, we were also having this conversation, Jamie, about Brett Lee, whether he could be on top, but no, Brett Lee is below Mitchell Starc when it comes to the 5-4s taken in ODIs, and then there is Shahid Afridi, 372. Now the innings and 9 5-4s. The thing that stands out for me is the number of innings it has taken him, and also the strike rate that he has. And I was looking at it, he's got the best strike rate among all the bowlers who've taken 100 wickets or more. He's averaging, 21.78. So you are looking at one of the best in ODIs.
A lot when it comes to one-day cricket. And just taking 9 of them in 107, 109 matches, and looking at the two names ahead of him, there were 250, 258 or some huge number like that. So it comes 341. So it comes down to his strikeability factor, and like I said, he has claims to be Australia's greatest one-day bowler, because yes, he doesn't have anywhere near 380 wickets, but look at the way he's striking. And man, look at his success when it comes to World Cups. He won a World Cup in 2015, and the third ball of that World Cup final to Brendan McCullum, I was at the MCG, lakh people there were very close to a lakh. The third ball, when he bowled Brendan McCullum, the same McCullum who had led his team so bravely into the final, it was game over there. And the 2019 World Cup, there was a match at Lord's, England, who went on to win the World Cup. We're playing Australia, and I was sitting right behind the bowler's arm, and Mitchell Starc took 5 wickets there. So when he's at his best doing things like that, in the 2019 World Cup, like 2 days ago against India. I mean, this is just fantastic bowling. So let's hope that he stays fit, and perhaps he's not going to get to anywhere near to McGrath and Lee's 380 wickets, but
Yes.
hopefully he can get a few more. And whenever the time comes for him to walk into the proverbial sunset, I think his claims to being Australia's greatest will have enhanced.
Okay, now let's talk about India's batting lineup and their trouble against left-arm pace. First, before we get to the numbers and before we discuss how big a problem that is for the Indian team in a World Cup year, where remember that most of the teams, possibly except Sri Lanka and West Indies, they will come armed with left-arm pacers. It is a clear problem with this Indian team. First, let's put what Rohit Sharma, in fact, had to say when he was asked about, Indian teams struggling against left-arm pacers, and that's going to come up on your screens now. He says, and I quote, "When you have a quality bowler in the opposition, he's bound to take wickets." He goes on to add that he is, whether it's a left armer or a right armer, they will get wickets. The right armers have, we don't look too much into the left arm or the right arm wickets. And then he goes on to say that if you lose wickets, it's a concern. We look into all sort of things, how we're getting out, what we need to do, how we can come up with better plans and better methods against the seamers. Now, Rohit Sharma has made it very clear that it really isn't a problem, that I think it's just good, fast bowlers that India struggles against. Jamie, first of all, your reaction to what Rohit has said, and then we'll put some numbers up as well.
Look, I mean, obviously, good fast bowling, be it left or be it right hand, is going to be problematic to the best of teams. But this pattern of left arm pacers troubling India, especially when it comes to big matches, and by big matches, I mean must-win matches as well as tournament matches, right? In the end, we have to address the fact that it's coming up to 10 years without any ICC trophy coming the men's cricket team's way, right? And if you look down to the chances in the last 10 years when they've gotten to these big matches, why has it been left arm pace that has been problematic? So Rohit Sharma can come and say whatever he likes, but 2015 semi-final, Sydney, I was there. Mitchell Starc had one job, and it was to get that time the biggest batsman in Indian cricket out, Virat Kohli, and he did that, right? 2017, 2 summers later, Champions Trophy final. India go into the final as favorites, unbeaten, having hammered Pakistan in the league stage. And in 3 balls from left arm pacer Mohammad Amir, that match is decided. He gets Rohit Sharma, he gets Shikhar Dhawan, he gets Virat Kohli, and it's game, set, and match. 2 years later, Meha, just 2 years later, the same conditions, England, 2019, India favorites once again. They storm into the semi-finals. Trent Bolt comes up and gets big wickets in a semi-final. Then 2 years later, this 2 years connection is very strange when it comes to India. 2 years later, same England, Southampton, WTC final, India 5 years, the #1 test team. They go there. I'm not even going to go down the road of how Virat Kohli misread the conditions, right? But again, Trent Bolt takes 5 wickets, left arm pace. Neil Wagner takes 5 wickets, left arm pace. Why can someone give us the answer? Why in knockout matches of IC events do India most times get stuck against left arm pace? So I'm not going to read too much into Rohit Sharma's comments because there's a much bigger problem that Indian cricket has to address in a WTC final year, in a World Cup year, also in the Asia Cup year, because let's face it, even in Asia Cups, they've had problem against left arm pace.
Yeah, which we've seen, and like you said, I'm going to put those numbers up as well. In past 10 years, Jamie, exactly what you said in ICC semi-finals and finals and ODIs, and we saw this even in T20Is. I mean, we're going to put up numbers for the ODIs, and you look at that 2015 semi-final, like you said, Sydney, James Faulkner, 3 for 59, Mitchell Johnson, 2 for 50. Then you move on to 2019 semi-final in Manchester, Trent Bolt troubling. And how often have we seen Trent Bolt troubling Rohit Sharma? I think in 13 or 9 innings, he's gotten Rohit Sharma out 4 times. Then you move on to the Champions Trophy final where Mohammad Amir, he was the one who struck in the power play, got 3 wickets for 16, and it was game, set, match for India. Pakistan won the Champions Trophy. So you're right when you say this, that, the team management, and Rohit Sharma can say that they really, specifically do not struggle against left arm pace, but we have results to show that India do struggle against left-arm pace. The top order is not, and which I wonder, which is my next question then, what seems to be the problem? Is it because they don't have quality left-arm pacers who are regular in the squad, net bowlers who can come and bowl to them? What seems to be the problem there?
That is one reason which I also think is a problem, because when you don't have quality left arm pacers coming through the domestic ranks, right, and you don't have options to select, which is why Arshdeep Singh really stands out for me, the way that he broke into India's T20 team last year, right? But when
Yes.
you don't have such quality left arm pace, and I mean quality by not just the pace, but the ability to move the ball into the right handers. So, short story, when your players are not facing quality left spinner on a regular basis, that is either someone who's part of the squad or traveling net bowlers. 2 years, 2.5 years of COVID, you had extended traveling squads where net bowlers were around. When you don't have those kind of left armers, you're not able to build your game and to improve. So this to me is one reason why suddenly when they're rocking up against Bolt and Obed McCoy took 6 wickets in a T20 last year, and Mitchell, Stark, and Afridi. So it's just their game seems a bit rusty. If you will allow me to indulge for 2 minutes, it was during the same 2019 World Cup. The match was being played at Lords between Bangladesh and Pakistan, and I think, or it was South Africa. Anyway, this was a game where Shaheen Afridi, at the age of 22, took 6 wickets, and we're standing there in the Lords press conference. India's fate had been sealed. It was while we were covering the match, it was sort of an off day, but Akash Chopra, someone who you've done a lot of shows with, he walks up to me and we're just casually, shooting the breeze, and we're watching Shaheen Shah Afridi demolish opposition. And we both said, well, what if this kind of a spell comes up against India, in about a week or 10 days in the semi-final? And we both agreed, it's not going to be rocket science. If it's Bolt, if it's Stark, whoever India face, if one of these spells come, India could be out of the match, and that's what happened. Bolt didn't get big wickets, but along with Matt Henry, he set up Virat Kohli. And fast forward to that semi-final at Old Trafford, the way that Virat Kohli was in fact set up, 2 balls from Bolt went away, and then one came in, and Virat Kohli, I remember it like it was last week, Virat Kohli was LBW. And watching that dismissal, I remember, Akash Chopra and I were just laughing, yaar, agar aisi ho gayi to team ki halat kharab ho jayegi. So it's so bleeding obvious to see the problem. So who knows when it'll get better. But like I said, in a WTC final year and a World Cup year, big problem.
Yeah, if it's a problem, then also need to address it instead of just saying, oh, we don't have a problem, which is the other problem we seem to see very often with this team management, where they don't acknowledge that there's a problem, which is what we saw even during the T20 World Cup, where everybody kept saying, look, where do you want to play Rishabh Pant? Is Dinesh Karthik? Should he be in the playing 11? And they just kept saying, look, we know what we are doing, even when people from outside were crying horse as to some of those things, the team balance not getting right. But let's also put some other numbers with India's problem against left-arm pace. Since 2019 against India, these are recent numbers. 6 pacers have taken 5-wicket hauls. 4 are left-arm pacers in Reece Topley. There is Trent Bolt, Mustafizur Rahman, Mitchell, Stark. 4 are left-arm pacers, like I said, out of the 6 pacers that have taken 5-wicket hauls. So not only are they troubling India, they're also running through Indian batting, as we saw Mitchell Stark do. Since 2019 in ODIs, left-arm pacers have taken 18 wickets and 9 wins over India. And at a strike rate of 31.2, average of 27.61, economy of 5.29. So, like I said, Jamie, which we saw with the way Mitchell Stark bowled to India, ran through Indian batting, and really you cannot recover if you've lost 4 to 5 wickets in power play, and that's exactly what happened with India. But what we seem to be also seeing is that when they get going, if India lose some wickets against left-arm pacers, then the recovery has been difficult for them. Even, and Rohit Sharma himself, he's acknowledged that, look, we should have created some partnerships. We should have built partnerships after we saw that we'd lost wickets in the power plays, but they were unable to do that. How much of a problem is that for this team as well? That, if you lose wickets, if you lose your top order early, who's that person who can create partnerships?
Well, if you look at the first match on Friday at the Wankhede, pretty much a similar situation, 16 for 3 and then 39 for 4. On the day, KL Rahul stood up with that 75 not out, And
Yeah.
Jadeja also got, what was it, 46 at a strike rate in the mid 70s. So unnatural strike rates for these times, but the situation demanded that kind of play. Now, if you're going to be losing, like you rightly said, 3 wickets, 4 wickets inside the power play, with this Indian batting, which itself has a few gaping holes, which you've already
Mm-hmm.
addressed in past shows, you're going to need at least two sizable partnerships to either put the team on the track to a fighting total or take them to a successful chase. The difference was in that first match, the target was not very much. What was it, 180 something, right? So
Mm-hmm.
on the day, KL Rahul was able to, see off all that Australia had and take them to the finish line with 75 not out. Now, the second match, he did not take it. I mean, he was not able to go through because he got out. So when you're five down inside the power play as compared to three, obviously huge pressure. And as outstanding as Mitchell Stark was, someone like a Sean Abbott, who we hardly see playing because of the health of Australia's fast bowlers and all-rounders, even him getting 3 wickets really made it extremely difficult for India to find those partnerships. Because on that pitch where there'd been a bit of moisture around because of the rain in Vizag, he used the slow ball to such good effect. So
Yeah.
after you manage to see off one end Mitchell Stark with 5 wickets, you expect there to be a release point. But Sean Abbott, full credit, he didn't give India that release point. So whether it's left armor, whether it's right armor, when you're struggling so much inside the power play, as we've seen this team do in back-to-back matches, you're not going to win too many matches.
Now, also, you were talking about the conditions. You know, it had been raining, the pitch was covered. Steve Smith rightly winning the toss, chasing first, wanting to use the conditions, the fresh, the fresh pitch and the moisture in the pitch. Which then leads me to the next question. Did Rohit Sharma miss a point in not going in, say, maybe with an Umran Malik? I know in the end it didn't matter because 117, it's very rare that you can defend a total like that. But having said that, should India have gone in with Umran Malik, three fast bowlers?
It's a good point. I mean, you can debate whether the extra seamer should have been Shardul Thakur, who did a decent job in the first match, or Umran Malik. But I did find it, Meha, surprising that on those conditions, after it had been raining, India actually chose to add a spinner and drop a seam bowler. Right now, what the thinking was, I mean, we can go on here, but it's going to come down to whatever Rohit Sharma rocks up at a post-match press conference and says. But it did seem odd that on that track, especially how well Shardul Thakur had done and Shami had done and Siraj had done. Maybe it is because they wanted to boost the batting. And Akshar, let's face it, does offer a lot when he comes to bat down the order. But dropping a fast bowler for a spinner on that track with that rain, it was a bit of a surprising call.
Then 11 overs is all it took Australia to reach the total. That was quite something. I mean, there's one thing that you want to win. And I remember that even in that mid-innings conversation on Star, they were all talking about, oh, Australia are going to be cautious because this could, if they lose early wickets, things could change. None of that happened. They were not cautious, and my goodness, Mitchel, Marsh, some of the cleanest hitting that one can see, and to see with the kind of ease that he hits those shots with, it's incredible to watch. I mean, Indian bowlers were struck all over the park. They had no idea what was happening.
Totally. When you're chasing just 117, there's absolutely no need to be cautious, right?
Yeah.
And I think Mitchell Marsh, I mean, he himself, I just go back to the 2021 T20 World Cup when Australia actually won that tournament. In the 6 odd months prior to that T20 World Cup, Australia, Langer, Finch, whoever it was, they chose to put Mitchell Marsh in that number 3 role. He'd spent the majority of his career before that batting in the middle order. And how that call 5, 6 months before the T20 World Cup ended up being so pivotal.
Yeah.
Likewise, here with David Warner not around, they said, hey, Mitch, you want to open? Now, Mitchell Marsh is such an inconsistent player, phenomenally talented, very strong, but he's been so injury prone that he rarely gets a long run. So I think, Mia, he would have been like, give me any role in this team, and I'm going to make sure that I can do my best. And we've seen now 2 matches, 2 half centuries, outstanding strike rate. So Mitchell Marsh with that inning, especially in the second match, to finish off a chase of 117 in 11 overs, he's put his hand up for the World Cup saying, you might play Davy, you might not play Davy. Who knows where Davy's going to be 6 months from now given his form, but I am going to do my best to nail down my spot. So fantastic from Mitchell Marsh. especially.
Absolutely. Okay, let's also then talk about Surya Kumar Yadav, because that was the other question that one needed to ask after Surya Kumar got out for another duck. And that question is Surya Kumar Yadav and the number of chances that he should be given by the team management now. He has struggled for a while. The start wasn't bad, Jamie. I was looking at his numbers. His start in the ODIs wasn't bad. He got 250s. He got, 140, couple of 30s. But from there on, last 10 innings, it's been completely downhill. He struggled, and how these two ducks, they wouldn't have helped his confidence, because at the end of the day, in a World Cup year, when you're trying to cement your place in India's middle order, you want to get runs. And I know that the deliveries that he got, both of them were absolutely brilliant, quite frankly unplayable. But just the way he went about it, walking in to be able to play across the line. What do you make of what he's doing in the middle right now in the ODIs, and how many chances do you think he'll be given by the team management?
Yeah, he's obviously not doing too much right because two golden ducks do not look good. But look, we discussed before the series began right here that Surya Kumar Yadav gets his chances in the one-day team only when someone is injured or is rested. So it's a clear sign to me, at least, that he's not a first-pick player in India's one-day team, regardless of how outstanding Maya the guy has been for 15, 18 months in the T20 format. Now, I said before this series that irrespective of what he scores in these matches, he needs these three matches to prove what he can do. Nobody would have probably seen two golden ducks coming Surya Kumar Yadav's way. But now I hope they give him the third chance because he is a very, very valuable player. That said, is he anywhere nearer to getting into India's World Cup squad? No. It's a major setback because of the contenders. Shreyas Iyer, if it rightfully walks back and takes his place. KL Rahul, despite his second match performance, I still have him down for playing every single match of the World Cup. So it's that stiff competition for places in the middle order, which unfortunately piles up on Surya Kumar Yadav, whether he gets golden ducks or whether he gets 25s and 30s. He needed two Meha big 50s out of three to push for selection. Two chances have been blown, but I hope that said that he gets a chance in that final match in Chennai, and let's hope he scores because he is too good a player to be ignored. But like you said, the start was very good, but the slide has been so dramatic.
Yeah, but I do think that, the team management will have a conversation around it. They will have to rethink, in case Surya Kumar Yadav does not score runs, even in the third game, they would have to rethink their strategy when it comes to India's middle order. You're still not sure of Shreyas Iyer. I mean, this is a recurring back injury. Does he need a surgery? There is no clarity on it. He, was out of the New Zealand series because of that injury, came back, couldn't complete the whole Border Gavaskar Trophy, sent back. So since there is no clarity on Shreyas Iyer, Surya Kumar Yadav not scoring runs, India not having enough opportunities, enough games to figure out who their number 4 player is going to be, I think this is important that they really do rethink their strategy when it comes to their number 4. And why I'm saying this is because of a certain Sanju Samson sitting out, and every opportunity that he has got, he has done well. He can also be, somebody who can construct the innings as he's expected to at number 4 in ODIs. He can also accelerate when he wants to. He's that kind of a player. So if you look at his numbers, and I'm going to compare them to Surya Kumar Yadav, in fact, for both these players, 22 matches for Surya Kumar Yadav, 433 runs, an average of 25, which comes down to 16, Jamie, in the last 9 innings, whereas for Sanju Samson, 11 matches, 330 runs, averaging 66. How do you tell him that, look, you are not still going to be able to make the squad? And I know he got an injury in the last series that he played, but when he is fit, will India be considering him if Surya Kumar Yadav continues to struggle in ODIs?
Let's hope that they're considering him, because apart from all the facets of Sanju Samson's game that you just mentioned rightfully, he's also a good wicket keeper and he's a floater. He can open, he can bat 3, he can finish matches, And I just go back to while you had those graphics of Surya Kumar Yadav on screen. in that New Zealand series, which was what is it, in November after the T20 World Cup. At that time, we were talking about how Surya Kumar Yadav has a big chance to nail down his spot. A year on from the World Cup or 11 months on from the World Cup, and at that time, Meha, that average was between 30 and 31. I forget exactly what it was. That's now fallen down to 25.57 after just a handful of matches. So nothing seems to be going Surya Kumar Yadav's way, like we've discussed. But where is Sanju Samson? Is the message being given to him clearly? Let's hope that someone in the team management is, of course, having that dialogue with Sky. But is Sanju Samson being put on place to be recalled? Because more than Surya Kumar Yadav, what he offers, Surya Kumar Yadav offers a very specific role, whereas Sanju Samson, with his experience, of floating up and down the order, as well as a keeper, you do need a third keeping option as well. So why Rajat Patidar, with all due respect, is a replacement and not Sanju Samson, is a question that needs to be asked as well. And also let's hope that Sanju Samson has a very good IPL, because we know that one good IPL here and there can change the whole makeup of how a squad looks. So I hope they do get Sanju Samson in very, very soon.
Okay, lastly, before we wrap this up, do you see any changes in the third ODI? Chennai, tacky wicket, does it look like India is going to go in with the similar kind of squad that they went in, which backfired really for them in Visakhapatnam, maybe go in with that extra spinner?
Probably you do need a spinner on that slow Chennai wicket, and Kuldeep Yadav, he was hit around by Mitchell, Marsh. So obviously there's not too much to judge when you concede 117 in 11 overs, no wickets fall. So it'll be harsh to judge the spinners on that performance. Probably one fast bowler could even go out, and you could even play Washington Sundar as well, because home ground. And look, India need batting cover. The batting has been disappointing in back-to-back matches. So maybe you see a fast bowler go out and Washington Sundar comes in, or maybe even Washington Sundar comes in for Kuldeep, because Siraj and Shami did the job all fair in the first match. So maybe Kuldeep, it'll be a big risk. It'll be a left field pick, but maybe Kuldeep goes off and you get in Sundar, because he can bowl in the power play as well. But I think the call could just come down to which spinner offers more with the bat, because Chahal and Kuldeep, with all fairness, do not, and Washington Sundar does. So that could be the one change. Otherwise, I don't see the batting change because you just don't have any options. Rajat Patidar is the only batsman you have, and he's uncapped. So.
No, and I think they would still give Surya Kumar Yadav another game before they even think of changing it. In fact, this is what Rohit Sharma had said in the press conference as well, that look, any player struggling or not needs to be given 7, 8, 10 games before, especially for someone like Surya Kumar Yadav. We know what he can do, so he'll be given more opportunities. But that's it. We've got to wrap this up. Jamie Alter, thank you so much for taking the time out. See you at home soon. All right, there you have it. So India's struggle against left-arm pace. Rohit Sharma may not agree to it, may not, believe it. But as the numbers showed there is something there where India, especially in big ICC events, have struggled against left-arm paces from Australia, from Pakistan. Is that something that needs to be addressed? It'll be up to the team management. But it is a World Cup year. It's an important year where most of the teams will come, like I said, equipped with quality left-arm paces. And what will India do then? That'll be the question. That's it from us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.